Hello guys, gonna see what I can do about this stream here. Gonna give this a shot. This is gonna be a PHP Crash Course. I'm gonna see how fast I can go about building a server from scratch with everything you need to get up and running. I'm just gonna use Apache for this since it's a little bit easier to set up and you don't have to worry about optimization. Anyway, so I've got myself a example here. So we've got ourselves a new server here at the bottom, and I have a little checklist of things that I go through. Now the first thing I do, because this is a small box with 1 gig of RAM, is I'm going to create a swap file. And I'm going to update this thing and just reboot it right away. So far, so good. Alright. Give it a moment. We're going to retry the connection, and we are in. Alright, next thing we're going to do, before we install any applications on here besides, obviously Shell, is we're going to install a firewall. Right now we only want this to be SSH and web accessible, so once this is done, we allow SSH, HTTP, and HTTPS. There we go. Firewall's good. Enable. Yep. Alright, so we're good to go there. We're not going to be using Ansible. We're going to be doing all this in one box instead of a complete cluster. So next bit to go here is make sure we have that installed. We're going to add a couple repos there. We got that one going. We got this one for DigitalOcean going. Alright, and now we're going to add the new PHP repo. Yep. We're going to make sure we got everything good to go here again with an apt-get update and an upgrade. Okay, can install a few more things here. Now, I currently do not have DNS pointed to this thing. I really don't care so much. I'm not going to set that up yet. Okay, the hope is that I'll be able to make this video available afterwards to give everyone a bit of something to go off with for booting up brand new PHP servers. I mean, obviously, in this type of environment, you'd want a whole bunch of servers all working together as opposed to just one doing everything, especially a $10 a month server doing everything. I mean, I'm installing one of the big things that I use is Gearman, which allows you to do parallel processing, background jobs, stuff like that. I use that for quite a bit, so I always install that. Alright, here's our next one. This is the Gearman Supervisor package, which unfortunately does come with Memcache, and I can't seem to get it to not come with Memcache when installed this way. I do have Gearman working perfectly fine with the Redis backend as opposed to Memcache backend, but I've not found a way of removing Memcache without it also removing Gearman. Alright, paste the next block, enable rewrite and all that. Personally, Me, I like I don't like the whole HTML folder. I'm a little old school, the public HTML folder. So I'm going to paste that in there. So what we did is we created that. Now we're going to edit our Apache 2 sites available. We're currently not using HTTPS at the moment. Public HTML. I consider that a carryover from the olden days of WHM. So what we got here, there's our turn off indexes, follow symlinks on, allow override, and require all granted, which is some newer thing that I didn't know was needed back in the day. Let's see, I'm not doing let's encrypt. I'm going to just do the full Gearman install. Yeah, it's a mess. I don't need fast CGI. We'll need Redis. So anyway, while we are waiting, one of the first things I do here is I'm going to create a new composer JSON file and a new dot ignore file. Can't come back to you later, can I? Oh, well, this is still running. Just going to go to a different repository here real quick and grab some defaults. Docs. Nope. Oh, that looks done. Let's get Redis on there. Repository. So I grab my get ignore. This is just a default get ignore file. No. Stop it. There we go. So, we have a handful of things in here we really don't care about, but that's fine. We're good. Whatever. That should cover the bit of everything. Next, we're going to need ourselves a composer.json file. So I'm going to grab one of those quickly. Clean that up a bit. Pair packages, so I can remove that from there. This would be, oops, sorry. Don't need that. I'm going to knock out a lot of stuff out of here, just because we don't need a lot of these. So as you can tell here, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. We got a lot of stuff going on in here. I'm going to get rid of, let's see, Unicode sniffer stand ending. Yeah, I don't need any of my required dev stuff right now. I don't need any fonts. Cache tool, I don't need cache tool. That's, I don't need that. I'm not going to need pair. I'm not using Mongo. I'm not doing QR codes or barcodes. We're doing Stripe or Amazon. Do a spam assassin. Recaptcha. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. I'm probably not going to need that for now. Definitely don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Yeah, fuck it, don't need most of these. Twig. Here, don't need. I'm going to leave PHP mailer just so we can mail out in the event we get that far. I'll look keep those from identifiers. Alright, we're on 7.1, we got our example, we got everything here. So we can go, this is still on the server, so I'm still in as root on the server. Now we're going to want to, get Composer up and running on here. Oh, we're also going to need MariaDB. Yeah, we're going to need our database on here. Alright, it's going. Okay, new password. God, that is terrible. Alright, MariaDB is going. We're good. Redis server's up. Gearman's up. Just running through the checklist. And I believe we have supervisor, and I'm not going to install all the extra stuff into it yet. We're only, a handful of minutes in, and we've already got basically a fully functional server. Right, that's done. So what I like to do is I like to grab the latest Composer FAR file and just slam it right into where's the download link? Oh, there we are. Right into the bin folder there. So I can copy that. I can just do a wget on Composer FAR. Move Composer FAR to user local bin Composer. I can just do +X, make that executable. Now I'm on that server. I'm going to exit out of the server. Now that I'm in here, I can do a Composer install, and we're going to see how this goes. Right, we're going to create ourselves a new folder while we're waiting called source. Maybe I'll create myself a new directory called twig. There we go. And then I'll create myself a folder called public HTML. And in the public HTML folder, I'll create a file called just index.php. Alright, I can blank that out. Ran into a problem. Aha. For some reason, I don't have permission to write my own. I don't have a config folder yet. Yep. Config.ini. I totally forgot. With my external libraries, I need the config.ini file. And there it is. So here is our database. Here's our ORM stuff. Sorry about that. And this will let us do a whole bunch of stuff. Protected. Trace false, 6 defaults true. Override true. Cool. This will be GC world example or common. Right? And yeah, see what it does, it looks for a config.ini file. We'll stick those in there. Essentially, common is your service lookup kind of thing. I forget what other people have called it. Anyway, so this is going to be our front controller. So let me go grab one of those from my bank of stuff. Let's go in here, repo. Yep. destroying all of my spaces. Anyway, it really trashed those up pretty bad. You know, I'm not going to deal with error handlers right now. I'm going to deal with stupid favicon requests. I don't need that. Just plop those in there. So, check that out. Just going to clear that buffer, get rid of that. See, right now it says we don't have a comment yet. We don't have a comment yet. That's fine. We are going to get one. We're going to make one. Source core common. Just going to do edit. This will be world example. Get rid of that. Alright, so we're going to go source, new directory, core, new PHP file, comment.php, paste that bad boy in there. Common is kind of one of those bridges that contains all of your stuff. Example. Alright, so this is our user thing. Here's where we're going to get stuff. These we don't really need. Those are for something else. But essentially, we don't need the get server name offhand. But I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for now because it might come in useful. This extends another class, by the way. So let's grab a user class. This deals with the current logged in user, if you will, as opposed to like a number in the database. I've been using the distinction of user versus member in order to indicate who's currently using the system versus who's doing other things. World, example, ditch all those. This is going to be a little painful. See, there's CSRF. We'll get rid of some extra functions like that. We don't need this garbage. So we get a lot of our security checks and whatnot in here. Doing that one, doing that one, doing that one. I don't need a masquerade function. Don't need that. Those. Ditch all those for now. We don't need to get member editor function yet. We're just going to keep the member ID around. We're going to get rid of this whole billing check. We don't need that. Yeah, it's fine. We'll just keep the function. That'll be okay. Alright. And we're going to get rid of this extra Redis bit. So this keeps messages of CSRF around. We don't have a user trait. And we're not even going to say that we implement PEX. That's fine. Alright, yeah, we don't have utilities yet, so we're not quite that far. That'll work. So anyway, a little bit rough to work out, but what we've got going here is we have our good, steady couple of core things. We got our front controller in there, and now we're just going to load up a config, and my config has grown fairly large over the years, considering that we have a lot of third-party APIs and whatnot. and obviously that's not going to work so well for you. So we're going to edit this. I'm just going to use root. Name. Now, you shouldn't ever use the root account, but for what we're doing here, it doesn't really matter so much. We don't need the Amazon. Get Mongo. We're not doing Mongo. So I'm going to grab this. Here is our config file. These don't really matter. It could be localhost. Oh, and then we're going to take the replace, and we're going to replace that with var. Oh, come on, there we go. So now it knows where everything is. Good to go with a config file. Create one called handlers, and then I'll just create another folder called create folder reason. We're going to create a file called index handler. This will be name, namespace, world, example, handlers, right? Class index handler, boom. Public function get. Make sure we got it at the end. Right now we don't really want to do much of anything. We just want to connect twig. So one of the other things we're going to need here is we're going to need a core twig file. All right. And because we said time. Source core twig. Nope. Get back here. Edit. We can knock out a lot of these things. Here we go. In the middle here, I have a whole bunch of functions that I added from my previous project, which we can get rid of. Just about all of them. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. Oh, we're going to have to reverse route one. We don't need that. Look at this. It's working fine. We don't have a page wrapper yet, so we'll go grab one of those while we're here. Page wrapper is essentially the header footer type controller thing, if you will. Ours over here is particularly large, but example, we can ditch all of those. See, this implements an interface too. See, this is doing a lot of stuff. We don't need this because this is for. What the hell happened here? Did it duplicate? Oh, it did something weird. So we got things like canonical URL and what have you. There's a lot lit up here. Yeah, this may not have been the best of ideas. But hey, so we do a lot of compiling, domain differentiation and whatnot. I'm just gonna leave that. It's probably terrible, but just there we go. Trapper, breadcrumbs, dealing with that. Do buttons, button object, button. Just don't quite have time for that. A lot of fancy stuff up here. We're going to do the menu. We don't even have an assets folder yet. I'm just going to ditch the rest of the menu. There's a lot of menu in there. That's fine. We don't want that function. I'm not going to do the intro.js stuff. Oops. Version. We're not doing GitLab connections. Not doing redirects. Home URL. That's everything there. Debug data. We don't make this debug data yet. We have a whole bunch of data to dump out there. And we get rid of those. We don't need the testing data. We don't need domain ID. We'll leave those. What do we got here? Unused local variable. Alright, we can ditch that. And we can ditch that. Alright, so now we got a basic page wrapper in there. Got that little twig. Our index handle up here. We're going to do echo twig render. Oh, yeah, render. Something like that. Right now, the front controller should be doing the echoing, but we're just doing it here. Twig, new, directory, 100, new, file, twig. It's fine. We're going to do directory, core, new, file, layout. I'm going to grab a quick layout. The more I look at this, the more I realize this may not be a good idea. We got a lot of shit in our layout. Yep, get rid of that. Don't care, that's a footer. We can get ditch the little footer. Perfect, that's notices, that's all that good stuff. There. You know what? Forget it. This is what we want. We'll ditch everything else. Boom. Then we're going to ditch all the stuff in the header. For now. Alright. So that's a pretty simple layout. Whatever, this is fine. So we got layout to twig. Right? And that is in core. So just as a quick example, we'll throw in our extends core layout, throw in our block content, and we're going to go times equals here and block. Now we haven't done anything with any of this. So it's all right here locally. So we need I'm missing a whole tab. Tools, deployment, browser remote host, new SFTP, example. Nope, I did not set that up. You know what? It's probably in my terminal history here. And there she is. Copy. Example Boop. Root path var woo. Data. Just keep it. This is gonna fail. Say mappings. We put the slash in there. Pass. We put any. We hit OK. Now it's going to fail because woo data does not have access yet. So we're gonna go here. Sudo data nano password. We're gonna find that woo data bin. It's bin bash. Sudo data c squiggle sh exit copy authorize keys to var. Right. Now we'll come back over here and try it again. Maybe we just get whatever. Test. Action failed. Alright, that sucks. Root perhaps? That works. But we don't want you know what, for our example, if this is an example, we can, who cares? Okay, so here is, we got our SSH folder, we have that HTML folder, and the public HTML folder. We're going to delete that HTML folder, we don't care about it, gone. Now we're going to take all the stuff that we've done so far, except for that vendor folder, and we're going to upload to example. Alright. Now, meanwhile, we're still in here. Since everything's root, woo, composer, install. Yeah, look at that. It's going pretty quick. Perfect. That seems to have worked. Now, 236.10.58. Sorry about that. HTML, we got our index. Public HTML, we got our index. One of the other things we need in here is we need a .ht access file. The nice thing about Apache is that these are portable. They kind of come with whatever it is you're doing there. Whereas, you know, with Nginx, you have to stick that config file in there. So I got a 74-line version of one of these. Essentially, there we go. We got a bunch of stuff, and it deleted all of my spacing. Let's try it again. There we go. Much better. Much cleaner. See, we do a lot of redirects. These, remove the woos. Remove this index. Just how to rewrite certain folders. There we go. We're good. Right. Now, while we're in here, I'm going to service. Wow, if I can spell today. Service Apache 2 restart. If we have to do that. Alright, take a look at this. We got Redis Connect failed. But look, we're hitting it. We are hitting it hard. So we got an issue with our Redis connection. So Redis is not being listed as a service. Alright? How did I apparently missed that. Terribly sorry. Done. Refresh my page in the browser. Route class found. Alright, so we haven't initialized our router because we're using a router. So what I typically do out right here is I will create a composer.php file. Right? And that's fine. So we're going to go, I'm going to go grab one of those real quick. This is going to be a lot of hack and slash. So quickly running out of time. Essentially, the composer file, what it will do is build things. Alright, but for what we're doing here, we're not going to need a lot of building things because we're not doing a lot of building. We don't have any assets yet. That's, I got this big thing that compiles assets, and we're not exactly going to need those. And we're not going to need any code generators either. So I can take this thing over here is like 600 and some lines of code. I can ditch the majority of it, especially when you consider the fact that I chopped out a bunch of it already. Type controller. We don't need our minify must parsers yet. Debugger. Cache tool stuff because we're not doing much next. So what this does is finds our database upgrade. We're not going to do a database upgrade. Now we can do all those. We're not doing code generator, ASCII compiler. We do need the route rebuilder. We do not need that. We do not need to burn caches yet. So we need the rebuild ORM and the rebuild routes. So this is the rebuild ORM. We do not need the upgrade database. We do not need compile assets. Probably faster if I just do that. We do need rebuild routes. We do not need any of the remainder of this. Regenerate code. Now, here we are. So what we're doing here is we've got our thing. Boom. Turn routes. We can do just whatever. There it goes. There we go. So we're going to add Redis. We're going to add our database. We're going to add this path. We're going to tell it to generate routes. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right. We need one more thing to do here on our handler. We need to do a handful of things here. First we need to do add router session. True, we want sessions on router dash pattern, just the index, and then name, main, index. Why not? Alright, sounds good enough. You know what? I don't believe I set up auto deploy. Tools, deployment, options, on explicit save. When I hit Control S, it will upload. So I'm just going to upload the whole folder real quick, and I should be able to back over in Windows. I need to thing here in our composer.json file. There's one particular line that I left out, which is this. What do we call that? It's just post dump. Boom. So I've got to upload that thing. Uploaded. Composer install. Boom. What is that? Unknown database example. That's right. We didn't create a database. You don't need that. Boom. There's our IP. Now I'm not going to be able to get in there, so we go UFW allow from current IP address 68.188.8 port 3306. There we are. Now bind. See, we've also bound it to local, so we want to undo that. Data source, MySQL, database, the blank, root, password, test connection. Connection failed. You have to make sense because root is only localhost. Alright, so MySQL-u root-p, enter password. Password's in. We're going to need to create our. Oh, that's right, there is no clear command there. Create user. Example at, we're just going to throw parentheses on there, divided by ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple, right? Boom, there it is. Star 2. No, whatever you do, don't do this stuff in the real world. Don't do that. This is insanely insecure, but see, the good news is this entire server is getting destroyed when we're done here. Oh, it is another one I want. Wow. Alright, so we can come back over here, data source MySQL, database. We don't have one yet. You know what? Boom. So let's check our config.ini. It's fine. Actually, we can just call this. We need to say that's example and that's example. It's fine because the user we created was the example. So here we go. Data source MySQL example ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 test. Successful. Alright, now we have a database with nothing in it yet. You know what? Let's do new table. Members. Right, we're going to add a couple columns. Let's do member ID serial auto increment primary key. Alright, let's do member username. Varchar honor. No, 64, why not? Default. Nom. Can I put an index on that? Week. Let's put the week in there. Let's do member email varchar 120. Make sure that's unique. Let's do like a status column at the end. One, the default of like I. Alright, let's see if that'll work. Apparently it is not smart enough to quote things or prevent injection. It's whatever. So now we have a table called members. We can see all the data about members. If it's good, who cares? Doesn't really matter. Let's get all this stuff uploaded. Oops. Down here. Exit out. Composer install. Boom. Starting route rebuilder. Route rebuilder is done. Uh-oh, provided user class does not implement packs. Shit, totally forgot about that. Alright, we're up to about 45 minutes. Alright, we're going to say implements packs. Right? What is packs? It comes with a handful of functions. Packs check, any, packs check exact. Packs check. Okay. Exact. For all these, we're just going to return true now. These are for our permission system. It's a really advanced, overly complex permission system. Probably not needed for the majority of things, but hey, whatever. It's cool. Now we're to the cache directory because we're running as a funky. Because we're running as root. CD twig. Cache cd.ls private cd public html temp cache. Alright, let's go back over here. I'm able to create the cache directory. Yep. cd chmod -r directory. No. There we go. And ta-da, we now have a fully functional web page with database and multi-processing and all that good stuff in there. So, yeah, if we want, we can close all these out. We can go to twig. We can core, go to our layout. We do something like header. Right. Footer. Right, we're okay. We're not too bad yet. And we can do like just throw some line breaks in there. Alright, we're gonna upload that. And if we come back here, you can see that's not what it looks like. Very, very simple, very basic, but that is the premise. Now, if we want to, let's say in our index here, we want to get a list of members. First, we can go to our members table, and let's insert some rows. We're going to do this one as member A. C, right? Remember email A at com, B at com, C at com, and we're going to set our statuses to A for active. Later we'll create a member class of the ORM that does that. So, now where's their stupid commit button? I have no idea. No, is this it? Submit. There we go. Alright. So, we now have a table with stuff in it. One of the things that this does is it rebuilds the ORM. So if we look in here, we go GC world, ORM, source, no generated yet, right? So we do composer, install. Super user. Shit, CD. Shit, that's a wrong machine. Right? What do we got? We got problems. Yep, because my local config file is different from the remote one, and they need to be different. That's why this config file is in our git ignore. Should be. Yeah, config. We just ignore that right out. We don't want that. The trick is I don't want to hit Control S because this will upload to the server and screw me over. So we will nano this thing. Right? And 156.10.158. Now your audit can be in the exact same database. Doesn't matter. It will actually not create a second connection. I don't think. I don't know. It's been a while, so there we go. So I enter. Boom. There we go. So if we go take a look again now in our vendor directory, we can go vendor, GC world, ORM, source generated. Ooh, and there's stuff. So if we want to create a model, for example, we go source. Maybe I'll create a folder called models. And this is members table, so we'll create one just called member PHP, right? So in here, we'll give this a name, space of, GC world example, models class member extends members, trait, nope, class, right? Public function save. We need to do some stuff here. So we have these four, right? First thing we're going to do is if empty this username, throw, usually I have custom exceptions. New exception is required if empty this member email, throw new exception, email is required, something like that. Then I can go if this member ID less than 1. Alright. Values. What is it complaining about? Oh, SQL dialect. File. Settings. This whole project is my SQL paste. Yay! Okay. There we go. Now we do. Close cursor. Pretty cool, right? So now that's that will automatically create a member if it doesn't exist when you try to save. Woo! Let's see what's really nice here is it's going to make sure those are always set. Now this doesn't do checks to make sure that they're unique beforehand and throw errors. This right here will actually throw an exception with whatever, so you can catch it outside. Who cares? So if we want to go to our index file here and just get a list of members from index, we want source handler, sundry index handler. Let's say we want to get a list of members. We just select member. You know what? Fuck it. From order by member username. Right? Query. Common. Get instance, get database, prepare a SQL, execute, member, query, fetch all, boom. Members, right? Okay, cool. So now we're going to pull all the members from the database and we're going to hand them off. We're going to make sure this page still loads. Yeah, page still loads. We're going to come to our index.twig here. Here is our content. Goes here. We're going to do something like the members. So notice I don't have like any JavaScript, CSS, anything like that in here yeah. Line break, block, quote, why not? I hate these things, but let's use them. For number in members, boom, and for we'll do member username space hyphen member email. Maybe we'll do member ID. We'll put a parenthesis and a space. We'll put a line break at the end, and we'll save that. And then we'll come back over here, refresh, and boom! There we go. We've hit the database. We've done stuff. Pretty slick, huh? Now we don't want to. Let's say we want like a hit counter in the footer, right? We want a hit counter. Let's see. Just for the lulz. Page wrapper. Get hits or something like that, right? We could do no common. Get cache. Yeah, get out of there. Increment. Let's do just hits. Return, cache, get, hits. Something like that. Right? So if we wanted a hit counter on every page, we could go to our twig core layout and we'll put a line break there and we'll do hits get hits, and then we'll format that so that way when it hits 1,000 it'll do its thing. Alright, so there's our hits 1, hits 2, hits 3, hits 4. See, the nice thing is, because we're using Redis in that case, it's very, very fast, and we're not touching the database. We're not touching MySQL or that data, and it's just doing an increment. So, yeah, there you go. That is a massive crash course into starting a server from scratch, installing everything you need to get up and running, plus some, getting started with the GC World framework, getting an ORM, getting the router, getting all that good stuff set up, and the basics. I think less than an hour, and we had essentially a fully functional website for the most part. If you want, we can go over some more in-depth stuff later. Just trying to keep these as short as possible. I think from here on out, now that we have the base down, I think I might just keep this example server up so we can continue playing around with it. I mean, it is fairly secure as it is. The firewall usually takes care of the majority of stuff. So, anyway, I'm going to end this out. Everybody have a good one. As soon as I figure out, there we go. Thanks for your time.